Breaking today, the royal family's position on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has significantly hardened following the shock beyond the grave revelations from the late Queen Elizabeth.
So, here we are again, deep in the ever-growing soap opera that is Harry and Meghan versus the monarchy. This time, it's not just a PR mess or an awkward family dinner we're talking about. No, this one's serious. It's about stripping titles. Yes.
Exposed to the world by her cousin, Lady Elizabeth Ansem. This reporting from Radar Online. Prince William plotting to strip brother Harry and wife Meghan Markle of their Sussex title when he takes throne from cancer-battling Queen. We're going to get analysis from our royal mastermind, Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin, in just one moment. But first, let me take you through this new reporting. Ruthless Prince William is eagerly awaiting the day he'll be crowned Britain's next king, as he's raring to strip the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of their titles if they ever again publicly rip the royal family. According to insiders, William has never stopped seething over how his brother Prince Harry and his sister-in-law Meghan Markle badmouthed the palace after the pair ditched their official duties in 2020 to cash in on their posh pedigrees, and how the verbal attacks saddened the men's father, King Charles. A courtier said the king was especially stung by Harry, labelling him an emotionally cold father in his scathing memoir Spare. But the monarch is very concerned about his image and fears backlash from his subjects. Let me tell you, Charles, there would be no backlash. That's why he'd never dare take away Harry's Sussex title despite all the hurt he's caused. The courtier revealed Charles worries he'd be seen as petty if he yanked back the titles granted by his beloved mother, but hard-nosed William has no such concerns. The insider shared behind the scenes, people are saying the royals have quietly sanctioned the title removal if Harry and Meghan step out of line again. The removal would require an act of parliament, but those in the know say the palace has already called several secret meetings to discuss the possibility and put an actionable plan in place. The courtier added, cowardly Charles does not have the courage to pull the trigger himself, but the cancer-stricken king has given heir to the throne William his blessing to pursue that route after he's gone. The royals are absolutely furious that Meghan continues to flaunt the Sussex title for her and Harry's own self-gain. When King Charles does pass away, it's a certainty that William will pull the trigger and strip her and Harry of their HRH status. So, Angela Levin, we've obviously been reporting on these developments for some time, but of course for the royal family, what emerged this week from Lady Elizabeth Ansem and those direct conversations with the late Queen Elizabeth II was so significant, Angela, because of course the family, especially Charles, and to a lesser extent William, they know how close the late Queen was to Lady Elizabeth Ansem. They know that what Lady Elizabeth Ansem was reporting about the fact that that Meghan was never properly in love with Harry and that she engineered this marriage and that Harry was revolting to the late Queen on the phone and that Meghan upset the late Queen before the wedding. They know that all of that is true, but the fact that it's now in the public domain means that they can take this tougher stance. What do you make of this new reporting, Angela, from royal courtiers suggesting that actually, even though Charles might not pull the trigger himself, he has given Prince William his tacit blessing to say, okay, when I'm gone, their titles can go?
Prince William reportedly wants to remove Harry and Meghan's Duke and Duchess of Sussex status, and not in some vague maybe one day kind of way. We're talking full-on plans in motion, acts of parliament, behind-the-scenes royal meetings, and a king quietly giving the green light. Sounds dramatic? Because it is.
Well, I must say, I don't think that if he said that, anybody else would hear it. I think William would never say anything to a magazine or TV or anything. And I think if he tells him this, it would be done in a very subtle way. He wouldn't actually say it. It would be too painful. So I think it's just easy to say something about it and guess it because it is a possibility. But I don't actually listen to those things unless I hear it from the person's mouth. of either of men. You know, they're so honourable. They don't tell lies. They don't shout these things out. And I think people on a magazine or whatever they're doing, TV, and then decide what's going on this week, and they think, well, let's pretend that the king's bound to have told him something by now. Boom, off it goes. And for me, I don't take any notice.
And Angela, do you think that there is a chance that it could happen before Charles's death, which obviously we hope is a very long time away? I've obviously got to stress that. But this reporting, Angela, suggests that it's almost like Harry and Meghan are on their final warning.
I certainly hope so. I think that it has been very hard for the king because he loves his children and he loves Harry and he's worried about him living in the way that he is now. And perhaps overdosing on all sorts of things. And I think that that really upsets him. But it's very, very hard for a parent to do that, I think. And I think it would be very difficult for him. However, if Meghan and Harry keep on and keep on and keep on, there will be something that actually makes him feel this is enough. You can feel you can manage, but he might go on for a very long time. This cancer that he has, he will die with it, but it won't kill him. It's one of those, they're quite common, and he can go on for quite a long time. He's in great form at the moment. He loves it up in Scotland and it's been good fun. I hear he's had a great time or is having a great time. And so what he's trying to do from that is to not think about it, to live in the present and with the Queen, Camilla, and actually go out and meet people, which is what he loves. There's a point as well where he doesn't take any notice. He doesn't let it eat him up anymore. Whereas William is absolutely furious. And a brother to a brother's attitude is very different from a father to a son. And he would absolutely do it no trouble at all. If he could get it done, he would, because he feels that Harry has been disgusting, both with himself and also Catherine. I mean, I think he's feeling that what Catherine has gone through and how Harry and Meghan go on and on and on, being revolting, as I just said a few minutes ago, it can make him angry. And I think he is angry, and he can see he can get very angry as well because he's fed up with it. And the stresses and strains that he has to deal with are enormous. I think they should try and get the act off them at the Parliament as quickly as they can. And whether William decides to do that, I don't know. He might not always listen, but it's enough. It's been more than enough. It's outrageous. And I think that at Parliament, whatever's going on the rest of our lives, actually don't appreciate what Harry is doing and might very well vote for it. But we'd have to see about that. But it is, it's just too dreadful, isn't it? You can't imagine it. If this was in a film or in a series, you'd say, oh, this is too far-fetched. It doesn't really mean anything. This is nonsense. It would never happen. This is real life, and it is disgusting and awful, and you can't imagine anything worse. And at some point, they've got to stop it.
Angela, these revelations from Lady Elizabeth Ansem have sparked quite interesting discussions across the Royal Commentariat this week. Now, there's not loads of those people who I trust, but one I do is Phil Dampier. He's been an independent royal reporter for years and years and years now.
Let's start with Prince William. According to royal insiders, he's just about done playing the understanding brother. For years, he's apparently watched Harry and Meghan drag the royal family through one scandal after another, Oprah, the Netflix doc, Spare, and all the accusations of racism, cruelty, coldness, and dysfunction.
And he appeared on the Sun exclusive this week and said that Meghan Markle saw the royal family as a stepping stone to fame and fortune. I'll get your reaction in just 1 minute, but first watch this.
So this has come right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And I think, the fact that we can trust this information, which is so derogatory to Meghan, is very, very telling. And to be honest, it confirms what we'd already suspected, that, that at first the Queen was very keen on Meghan. She welcomed her. She thought she'd be great. And then slowly but surely, like a lot of other people, she saw a different side to her. And very disappointingly, she started to have her doubts about her. And I think it ruined her relationship with Harry, which was a very close one. She claimed that she was rude to her for 10 minutes. She wouldn't tell her details of her wedding dress. She couldn't understand why she wouldn't talk about that. And she remarked that Harry was perhaps a little bit too much in love, was possibly besotted and a bit weak, being manipulated by Meghan. And I think, unfortunately, that confirms what I've been saying or thought for the last few years, that sadly, Meghan never really had any intention of staying in the royal family. She saw it as a stepping stone, getting married to Harry, to new fame and fortune. And I think that's what initially Prince William was concerned about, and that's why they fell out.
Now, Angela, you have told me this week that you think Meghan is insulting, lying, and abusive, and that she should not be able to get away with her behaviour towards the late Queen. Do you agree with what Philip Dampier is saying there, that she only ever saw the royal family as a stepping stone to her greater ambition?
100%, I agree with everything he said there. And in a way, I could say that it's obvious that she was just making, this was a great opportunity for her. She didn't have any more work on television, she had nothing. Nobody wanted her, and she's not a very good actress. And she had to find someone who could help her, and she was looking for a rich English man. I don't know why she liked English men. She obviously liked England, but that's a lie that she said she didn't, and she obviously quite liked it for finding men. And she, put on Diana's perfume, sat there, and Harry was just over. Oh no, it was just too much for him that she smelt just like his mother, and that's the end of it. But I think that she felt that this is what she wanted, but she didn't want to compromise with the way of behaviour. She didn't want that. It was this whole half in, half out. She didn't want to be told what to do. I mean, Harry went in and said to his mother that she's much cleverer than Catherine because she's self-made, and Catherine isn't. She hasn't done anything. Well, what a terrible thing to say. But this is because Meghan was nagging. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to walk behind Catherine. And you often saw her whizzing ahead, and then an aide would come back and bring her back behind Catherine and William, but it was all for her. And then she got all snooty, I'm amazing, I can, so important. But actually the jobs and what she wanted to do haven't come off because nobody thinks she's got the talent, and she's just not very nice person either. So what I feel, though, that she should be stopped from any time that she wants to come over here. At some point, she mustn't be allowed to come, and she can't get away with her behaviour. I think there should be something that you have been so rude to the Queen that actually it deserves some sort of punishment. Prison if possible. I really mean it. I don't mean it as a joke. But when we've heard all the things you said to the Queen and how she's behaved all the way through, it's not something that's come up after she's tried to
So what, treason?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would agree.
I do, because she's taken advantage of it. She's not said one word of gratitude, has she? Her wedding cost £32 million, and after she said, well, I never wanted that. It was just what they wanted to do to show all the people all around. They were so interested. And I thought to myself, gosh, you need a wallop. How dare you say that? She's never thanked them for all the gratitude of how much she's learnt, how richer she's got, how more famous she's got. It's always looking at the darkness smashing it to pieces and destroying it. The people, anything, she wants to get rid of that she doesn't want to. She wants to be there, the queen of the world. And she's just, if she wants to do that, she shouldn't actually try and knock out other people like our Queen, who was the most amazing woman, and she was getting ill and she was getting old, and that you can still attack someone like that. If you don't like them, stay away, shut up, go away. But if you actually go on and on and on nagging, you're going to make them very ill as well. So that's why I think it is treason. I'm sure if they looked through things with a fine comb, they could find things that were treason, and I hope that she would have it. And I'm not really a nasty person, but I do think that she's beyond dreadful.
So, where do things stand? King Charles likely won't strip titles while he's alive. He's too emotionally invested. William, on the other hand, seems ready and willing to act the moment he becomes king. Harry and Meghan are walking on a very thin line. One more public attack, and they may lose everything. Behind the scenes, the palace is prepared for this. It's not just gossip anymore.
I think a lot of people would agree with that approach, Angela, and actually don't like the sort of soft touch approach that King Charles is taking. Now, interestingly, also, Angela, this week it emerged in the Mail. I'll show you this headline, that perhaps what William could do is look to the Danish royal family as a blueprint of how to remove their titles. This from Sharon Hunt. Harry and Meghan's children are likely to lose their titles, but there's only one way for William to do it while keeping his hands clean. Another royal household has already shown him the way. And she talks about the fact that in Denmark, it went back to September 2022, during what would ultimately be the penultimate year of Queen Marguerite's reign. And the monarch made the unexpected decision to future-proof the royal family and slim down the court, because she made the decision to revoke the HRH title of her youngest son, Prince Haakim's 4 children, now titled Count Nikolai, Count Felix, Count Henrik, and Countess Athena. She said that revoking their princely titles would allow her grandchildren to shape their own lives without being limited by the special considerations and obligations that formal affiliation to the Royal House of Denmark entails. And the argument that Sharon Hunt is making here is that, of course, that is something that King Charles could do to protect William in a way, because obviously it was done by Queen Marguerite in a sort of positive way. Do you think this is a good idea?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a very good idea. In fact, I'd do anything to get them to lose their titles and just become ordinary people. But the trouble with that is that we're dealing with the most spiteful, nasty person. She's so determined to win. I think in Denmark they were quite grateful for that, and there was no fuss. Now, if you say something like that with Meghan, or that's what you're going to do, you have to be very careful about the response. I think she's dangerous, and I think she can say as many lies as she wants, and I think it could absolutely make a bomb go up. And I think we need to be careful that if ever we wanted to do that, you had to make sure that it wouldn't be a massive response.
Angela, there was also something really intriguing this week that I wanted to get your view on. It was James Holt, who has been the right-hand man for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for years. I mean, I don't like this guy, right? Because I was dealing with him a little bit when they were in the royal family, and he was like a total propagandist for Harry and Meghan and very much on their side. And he was the one that was really behind we're not going to deal with certain journalists. And, you know, I got the email after Megxit where it's like, we're never going to speak to you again. And I'm like, I don't care. You know, I break my stories. I'm not one of these journalists that relies on your pathetic spin. You know, I'm not like Newsweek or People Magazine or Us Weekly. It's like, God damn, I've just broken the story of Megxit without your help, Harry and Meghan. So I'm just going to go on and keep doing what I'm doing. But what's interesting about this, Angela, is that this week, James Holt has started to like posts on LinkedIn, which is like the professional social media network, which are pro-royal family posts, including posts praising the work of Jason Knauf. Now, Jason Knauf, very, very famous. There he is, circled next to Harry and Meghan, or just behind them in that picture, because, of course, he was the bloke who blew the whistle on Meghan Markle's bullying and is now actually the chief executive of Prince William's Earthshot Prize. Now, do you have any idea about what's going on here? Because I've seen so many different theories, and I don't know, because I don't know what's going on with James Holt. But some people are saying he's moved back to the United Kingdom. Could he have potentially split from Meghan and Harry? Other people are saying, no, he is operating on behalf of Harry and Meghan. He's almost doing this to try and, I guess, ingratiate them back in the royal fold. Do you have any insight into this or know what's going on?
I don't know for sure, but I think you're absolutely right that they've tried all sorts of ways, but they've ended up with rows. So here they've got a man who knows how to deal with the royal family, who knows how to deal with Jason Knauf, and he can actually perhaps make it all very nice and cozy again.
It's strategy. The public sentiment is shifting from frustration to fury, especially around Meghan's perceived ingratitude and disrespect for the late Queen. Whether you think Meghan was misunderstood, mistreated, or manipulative, the reality is that she's now a lightning rod in one of the most iconic families on Earth. And the consequences? They are no longer just tabloid speculation. William may be holding the hammer. And if Meghan and Harry cross the line again, don't be surprised if he finally swings it. If you've read this far, you probably have a strong opinion. So, was Meghan's behavior just bold truth-telling? Or was it betrayal disguised as bravery? Is William right to want the titles gone? Should Harry be punished too? Or is this all too harsh? Let's be honest, the royal family hasn't exactly been a warm, fuzzy place for outsiders. But then again, most outsiders didn't set fire to the family portrait on their way out. Let's hear it. Drop your thought below.